If only everyone was as clear as Hans Rosling. Well, that is it from Davos tonight. This place socialises till late, so conversations continue here. But we'll be back tomorrow with George Osborne, in fact. Kirsty.
Now, a prosecutor in a locked room with a bullet in his head is the stuff of crime drama, except it's just happened in Argentina. And what's more, as the prosecutor was just about to testify against the president, thousands and thousands of Argentinians aren't buying the story that it was suicide. Here's one of our colleagues from BBC's Spanish service, Ignacio de los Reyes.
Anger, shock and frustration in Buenos Aires. Argentines went back to the streets after the baffling death of a man, Special Prosecutor Alberto Nisman. He was found shot dead in his apartment last Sunday in what the authorities described as an apparent suicide. His body was blocking the door of the bathroom. Next to him, a .22 caliber handgun. And he found death only days after he made the most shocking allegations.
There's been a radical change. There's been an alliance with the terrorists. There have been dealings with the state that is protecting the terrorists.
The prosecutor created a political earthquake that put the president of Argentina, Cristina Fernandez, in the spotlight. Alberto Nisman had been in charge of the investigation of the 1994 bombing of the AMIA Jewish Center in Buenos Aires that killed 85 people. Last week, he had accused the president and other high-rank officials of involvement in a plot to cover up Iran's alleged role in the attack. He said the government had agreed to clear the Iranian suspects in order to facilitate trade deals between both countries, something the government denied. In an interview last week, he said he could end up dead for this. Whether he killed himself, whether he was murdered or pushed to death by anybody else remains a mystery in Argentina's latest political thriller. Security has been tightened in Buenos Aires' Plaza de Mayo. Alberto Nisman used to work here, only steps away from the palace of the Argentine president, the woman he accused of helping covering up the worst terrorist attack in the country's history. His death has shaken the country and deepened the divisions between those standing on the president's side and those who believe the timing of his death was much more than a simple coincidence. President Fernandez's only statement so far has been a post on her website, defending her government and suggesting Mr. Nisman could have been the victim of a bigger plot.
In the case of the suicide of the AMIA's prosecutor Alberto Nisman, there is not only astonishment and questions, but also a very heavy, hard, and above everything else, a very sordid story behind it.
These names mark the place of one of the worst attacks against the Jewish community worldwide. Noemi was among the 85 people killed. Her sister believes that now it will be even harder to ever prosecute those responsible for the attack.
There have been other attacks in France, London, Spain, or the Twin Towers, or bombings in Israel, but Argentina is the only place where they haven't been solved, because there hasn't been a political will to do that. We just want to know the truth, no matter what. Those who had something to do with it should face the consequences.
Argentina is often seen as an example to follow when it comes to prosecute the brutal crimes of the military junta of the 70s and 80s. But the country's justice and political leaders have failed to solve more recent cases. Some believe the death of Alberto Nisman is a chronicle of impunity foretold.
Well, the case of Argentina is quite paradoxical. I mean, we have an excellent record of the judicial system vis-à-vis the human rights abuses of the past. The militaries are on trial practically every day. Now, in terms of the current levels of difficulties, crime, delinquency, corruption, mismanagement, the sense of frustration and fatigue by the society is overwhelming because there is a great impunity.
This enigmatic case comes at testing times for Argentina, a country that will elect a new president in October amid yet another recession and growing political divide. Alberto Nisman was appointed 10 years ago to shed some light on one of the country's darkest moments. Instead, his death could remain as one of the biggest mysteries in Argentine history.
Inicio